Hey there, my fellow bankers. This is Nafi Sparrow, the representative of Benny Banks, and this is your host of Bank with Benny podcast. Today's deposit, we will be talking about what does procrastination does to one's dream, and those who choose to procrastinate, which are known as the procrastinators. So we want to elaborate a little bit more so on Benny Banks' philosophy taken from his blueprint for success. And he has in there, in the 7 step commandment, he mentioned about time is money, the concept of time being money. And what he means by time being money, not in the sense of, it's a very cliche word, but every opportunity needs to be seized, and that the mind is constantly processing ideas. So those ideas need to be cashed in on. The opportunity needs to be grasped. And so, taking that in consideration, we're going to talk about how people kill their dreams before they even begin. And that is procrastination. Remember that Napoleon Hill, he mentioned how the mother of indecision is procrastination. No doubt you have people who drag their feet, so to speak. And procrastination is nothing but having an opportunity on the table and not going for it. Having the opportunity on the table and not going for it. Just like laziness is nothing but having the ability to do something and choosing not to do it. So when we understand procrastination, then we know that it kills. It's that thing which drains the energy, okay? And if you're talking about, you have all of these lofty ideas which you do not cash in on, you do not take time out to develop them and to see where they will actually lead you because of your procrastination, because of your staying stagnant, not moving forward. And you have people like that who, in reality, what they become by procrastinating and they begin to lie to themselves. And by lying to themselves, they open the door to lie to others. You have a conversation with someone and you're talking, and this individual is explaining to you all of the lofty ideas, all of the things that they would like to do. And it makes conversation for them, but they have no intention whatsoever to actually do it. They are not working towards developing any of that. So they procrastinate. And every opportunity to come by, they don't see it for what it is, and they don't grasp at it. They let it come in and they let it go out. These individuals are the type of individuals that kills and harm a dream. And these are the individuals you do not want around you. You do not want your inner circle consisting of people who are procrastinators, because they are individuals who are the mothers, the masters of indecisiveness, and they will never be able to move forward, because for them, they have a mindset that everything is not picture perfect, or it's not the time right now. Things are going on. Maybe when I get to it, and that's not the concept. Benny Banks have a beautiful statement where he says, the time is now, never later. The mindset of the successful. And that's true. And what he means is that if you understand that you cannot wait to put something off, don't wait to do something, do it. And it doesn't mean you have to do it prematurely. It doesn't mean that you can't exercise any patience in executing it. It doesn't mean that you can't plan or strategize how you want to carry it out, but at least begin the process. Don't use 50 excuses as to why you're not going to do something. Oh, I didn't have certain things. You have an individual tell you, well, I was going to start a podcast. I mean, that's just the conversation. I was going to start a podcast. I had an idea for a podcast. Yeah, great, man. What stopped you? Did you name your podcast? What do you know about podcasting? Did you get any equipment, or Do you have a channel? Do you know about going about the process? What were you going to do? So these questions be asked them, the time was never right. I got so much things going on. I got this happening, with that happening. And you see these individuals a little bit later on in life. And, whatever happened to that podcasting idea you had? It's been 6 months, 7 months. Have you ever been working towards beginning it? Nah, man, a lot of things still going on the same thing, procrastination. So if you understand the statement, the time is now, meaning seize the opportunity now. Start the process now. Plant the seed now. Don't wait to plant that seed. Don't wait to develop that idea. Don't wait to chase your dream. Don't sit there and say, okay, I'm going to put my dream on the back burner, but I'm going at the same time, I'm going to move forward in someone else's dream and someone else's reality and not push it on. So don't be a procrastinator. Procrastinators are people who do not understand the value of time. They don't really understand the value of time. And the reason why they don't understand the value of time is because time is like a double-edged sword. Do you understand? So all of the time while they're hoping, and they have this extended amount of hope that, and it's mere wishing on their part, that I'm going to have this accessible amount of time to do what I want to do, not realizing that they are on a clock already. So the opportunities that's in front of them, they let them go right by because they believe on the later end they will be able to grasp them. No, you won't. Because you did not take the necessary steps right then and there in terms of seizing the opportunity. Now you could have begun to plant the seed. So say for example, you do have an idea and you do want to get it off the ground. Each day, as you're writing down your short-term, your long-term goals, and you're writing down your plan and you're strategizing on how you're going to develop this and execute this, each day you should chart something off the list. You should give yourself time frames, okay? Because you want to take advantage of time and you want to understand the value of time. So you want to put yourself in that position and say, you know what? I can't do it now, but I am doing something now rather than later so that when the opportunity presents itself, I am fully prepared. My preparations has already been made. And I am here now being ready to execute because I've been working on this since like forever. And I didn't wait to work on this. Do you understand? So the time is now. Seize the opportunity now. It's never later. Don't wait till later or put it off to later to say, I'm going to get this opportunity. No, seize it now. And don't be a procrastinator because you don't understand the value of time. That's all you're doing. You're wasting time. You're a person who lies to themselves on a daily basis, have no intention whatsoever to move forward. And you become what they call an energy drainer, someone who has a negative outlook on things because you don't believe in yourself enough to push yourself forward to do what you necessarily need to do to get ahead. You understand? So you're always going to be someone who's going to be a fill-in for someone else's dream. Oh, you have a job position available. Okay. And then you're going to be the guy for that job position available to you because you don't want to seek out your own dream. And you have dreams. And to Benny Banks, your dreams, your ideas rather, are your cash. That's your bank. So you are rich via your ideas. So you have to bring them into fruition. If you don't cash in on them, where do you think you're going to lead to? So we try to, explain to people the importance of not lollygagging, If you're really serious about what you want to do, then you need to seize the moment. You need to take the necessary steps to make that happen. And the thing about, for example, think about time. During the time of Benny Banks, they didn't have watches that we have or phones, the gadgets that tell time on it. They had a little hand watch clock, you see? And the thing I love about the beauty of this is that it makes you more hands-on with time. You start to, appreciate the time. You can look at it, you feel it in your hands. You understand? You can watch. It makes you more conscious of that. And this is pretty much what you want to be. You want to be conscious of your moves, okay? You want to be conscious of the decisions you make, how you execute them, your strategy, what's going to get you a step further to your dream being reality. So you look for opportunities. You don't wait for them. So the time is now. That's what you tell yourself. This is the mindset of the successful one. The time is now. It's not when I get the perfect lighting for a podcast, for example. It's not when I get the perfect mic. It's not when I get the perfect outfit. It's not when I get to, reach this amount of money. Or it's not when I, get the perfect place, or I'm at the perfect studio and, everything seems to be right so I can give it on a professional scale, or I can go grandstand, or, and I gotta have all of the state-of-the-art equipment. No. The time is the moment you have the idea. Now you have to put in the necessary leg work, those small steps to bring it to a fruition. If you gotta start in a hole in the wall, so to speak, you start in a hole in the wall. And you build yourself up gradually, step by step, bringing it to that level that you would like to have begun with. But people respect the underdog. They respect the hustler. They respect the person who grinds, the person who puts in that, show people that they have something, They put in that consistency. They put in that dedication, that work, and they see the growth over time. And it's not an overnight sensation. That's what they respect, the grit, the drive, the will. You understand? So yeah, I remember when he started, he didn't have such and such. He didn't have such and such. Yes, he started like that. And they appreciate it because he did not allow that to deter him from getting closer to his dream. Or she didn't allow that to deter her from getting closer to her dream. She used what she had to get what she got. And that's pretty much what the Benny Banks philosophy is all about. In his blueprint, as I discovered it, and it was explaining that you have to utilize your natural resources. And I kept coming across this term within his blueprint, your natural resources. And he explained what the natural resources was basically all about. It was your God-given faculties. It was those things that you have been born with, such as your mind, your intelligence, your intellect, such as your ability, your faculties, things that you have. You can grasp, you can walk, you can see, you can hear. All of these things are at your disposal. So when you utilize them and you take full advantage of them, you can make something happen. You understand? And you don't have to worry about, where you're going to be. No, you can make something actually happen if you utilize the natural resources that you already possess. But you have to take that time. And most people realize they don't do that. They waste. They become procrastinators. They keep waiting and putting things off. It's not the time. The time is never right. Conversation, you always talk to a guy, yeah, I was going to start a food business. What happened? Oh yeah, man, the time is not right, man. The restaurant I want, it's located in such and such. I'm going to get there. Okay, so what are you doing now? Have you made any food dishes? Have you seen if anyone like your food? Have you come up with any recipes? What have you done? Besides the fact of you telling me this is what you want to do, but what are you doing to get to what you want to do? See, you can lie to yourself all you want, but when you pin them right on the spot, it is what it is. Because those ideas that you had can be worth millions. That's your cash. Worth millions. You're sitting there wondering where the next opportunity going to come from, where the next job going to come from, how much money you're going to make, and you're struggling to to make ends meet. You're struggling on a day-to-day basis because you're stuck in this rat race. But you have a bank that you literally are walking around with that you're not cashing in on. And you're the one who has the keys to the vault of that bank. And yet you overlook that and you procrastinate and keep putting it to the side, and then you watch someone else come right along with that same bank because they have one too, and they cash in on it. And you're now becoming a admirer of them or envier of them. And you see how they become successful because they did not procrastinate. They had the mindset of the successful. The time is now and never later. They understood that true bankruptcy, as Benny Banks mentioned, is to give up on your dream. So they utilize what they had to get to what to get one, to get to what they want. They utilized that and they used that. And if they didn't have everything all at once, they begin with something. And those little small steps that most people don't get to see, the daily process, that what it takes to actually be successful, it helped them get to where they were at. So now when you see the finished product, or you see the result of that hard work they put forth, and you didn't see the time or the years or all of the different things they had to go through, the failures, the setbacks, the disappointments, the tests, the trial, the error, so forth, they were able to get it done because each time they took the necessary steps and seized the opportunity. Like we said before, procrastination, my friend, is nothing but having the opportunity on the table and you're not seizing it. You're not taking it. Okay? You have the opportunity on the table and you don't take it. And you might say, well, where's the opportunity at? What I wanted to do, no, you had the idea. Okay? Now you have the opportunity to plan the idea, to execute it. You have the opportunity to work towards the idea becoming fruition. All of these things you have the ability to do. It is on the table for you, right? And now you can work towards, okay, you might got a big idea. Okay. Instead of you trying to approach it from a huge grand standpoint, you can say, okay, what can I do? All right, you have this discourse with yourself, and this is why you write out a plan. What can I do to actually make this idea reality? And then you begin to write down, and you go to the drawing board. You try step A. Step A didn't work, you scratched it out, now you're trying step B. Step B didn't work, got you a little bit here, but now you're gonna scratch it out, now you're gonna try step C. Step C, pretty much I gotta tweak it a little bit. All right, let's move on to step D. And it's okay. But each and every time you feel better because you're working towards the idea being executed. And you have seized the opportunity that was on the table and you did not walk by and leave it there. So you are not procrastinating. It's just taking you time to develop the idea. That's not the same as procrastination. You're not indecisive. You're not unsure or uncertain that this is the idea. You understand? You don't have you're not battling and struggling with that type of understanding. You know for sure that this is the idea and I'm going to do whatever it takes to make the idea become a reality, and therefore you're going to be successful because it doesn't matter what story you read, whose story you hear, they all went through similar struggles. And that is, they had to have key things: determination, dedication, discipline, consistency, confidence. All of these things they had to have. They had to go through a lot of the failures, the setbacks, and these things happen. But they learned, and they took it as a learning process. And they didn't balk, they didn't run, they didn't stop and give up. They didn't quit. They kept going and they tweaked it. And they said, okay, it didn't work that way. I'm gonna try it from this way. It's okay, it didn't work this way. I'm gonna try it that way. Okay, they didn't get it this time. They would get it the next time. And they kept that alive. And that drive never went anywhere. It didn't dwindle. So they had that hunger from the beginning that the idea had formulated in their mind, and to the end that the idea have now become a reality where other people are enjoying that particular idea. And I can tell you about many success stories. We can talk about many different things that we see on a daily basis that all begun as an idea. We can talk about Walmart. We can talk about places you want to talk about. We can talk about individuals, if that's what you want to talk about, and look at each and every one of those stories and see how it all begun and the process begun. But they weren't procrastinators. And they didn't wait for someone to come along and say, hun, here's the opportunity. No, they made the opportunity. They took the time to actually do what is necessary. And that's pretty much what Benny Banks is instilling. So as I'm reading and discovering this amazing words and advice from this individual who weren't even in my time period, and understanding that, okay, what if I seize the moment now? What if I do what I necessarily need to do to make my dream come reality? How would that look? So I begun the process. I'm not the favorite person. I'm not the most eloquent speaker. I'm not the most individual who can, is real sharp with his words. And I'm not the most humorous person that can make you laugh and things like that. I don't have such and such, I might don't have the personality or the persona. How I'm going to do it. So I started a podcast. Yeah, the market is oversaturated. Who's going to listen to me? Who's going to take you serious? But as I look and read the words and take the words of Benjamin B. Banks in consideration, I realized that none of that stuff mattered. You have to believe in you. And even if you're not the sharpest tool in the shed, and you're not have the most exquisite personality, or you are not the most eloquent person to speak, it does not prevent you from carrying out your dream. And I realized that. So what did I have to lose? I have everything to gain and nothing to lose. So I began the process. I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So I started to do research on the market of the podcasters. I started to do research on the equipment that podcasters have. I started to invest not only my time by doing the research, and then I started to write down my ideas on what I want my podcast, my audience, who I want to target, what I want to talk about, what I want to address. And I started to do research on which platforms I should be on. And I started to do research on most of the things. So this took time. And then I invested my money in the equipment that was suggested to me through my research to say, get this equipment, get that equipment. And I started. And then, I didn't wait. I didn't say, I'm going to wait till I get everything. It's going to cost a whole heap of this. No, I said, listen, let me start now, never later. And through time, I'm going to get it. Through trial and error, I'm going to get it. One episode, one deposit might not be the most enlightening, as you see now, might not be the best lighting that there is as I come in my research, but it's coming through time. And I started to take that advice of Benny Banks and I let it fester, and I realized that I could not procrastinate no longer. If you want to be something, you want to be a success, then you have to be your own success story. You have to take those necessary stages. And that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about in this deposit, is how procrastination actually kills your dream, and what does it does to your dream. And I want to repeat again, procrastination is having the opportunity on the table and not seizing it. So do not be a procrastinator. Be someone who will seize the opportunity. Remember the words of Benny Banks that he made explicitly clear, and that is, the time is now, never later, the mindset of the successful ones. Can you feel that? Can you hear that? You can sense that, right? Can you taste it? Are you experiencing it? That's greatness, my friend. That's greatness what you're tasting. That's greatness what you're experiencing. That's greatness what you're feeling. That's greatness what you're sensing. And if you want to wake that sleeping giant, that genius that lies within you, then make sure you stay tuned to the next deposit. Thank you for banking with Benny.